Hey Spurs fans, welcome back to another update on our San Antonio Spurs. Before we jump into today's breaking news, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. And here's something special for you. Everyone who subscribes and leaves a comment with their name and the city they're watching for will automatically be entered into our giveaway to win an official San Antonio Spurs jersey. So don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and comment your name and city below. Stay tuned, because the next Spurs fan wearing the jersey could be you. The determined journey of the Texas team toward survival amid a turbulent period begins to take on epic contours as their road stretch turns into a true test of physical, emotional, and strategic endurance, placing the group face to face not only with traditional adversaries, but with the very limitations imposed by an exhausting schedule, untimely injuries, and sudden shifts in internal leadership. Over the course of a marathon that crosses 9 cities in a span of 18 days, the franchise is forced to reinvent its identity in each new arena, learning how to adapt to hostile environments, opposing chants from the stands, and the absence of central figures who, at another time, would dictate the rhythm on the court. In one of the most striking moments of this journey, a decision in the final breath of the clock sealed a narrow result, defining a victory of 114-112 against Orlando on enemy territory, in a night when every possession carried the weight of a premature final. There was no room for error, hesitation, or overthinking. It was instinct, quick reading, and cold-bloodedness in the midst of chaos, in a scene that perfectly symbolized the spirit of resilience that has come to define this stage of the season. By recording 4 victories and only 2 defeats in this stretch, the group shows that there is far more than individual talent sustaining these results. There is a collective mentality forged under constant pressure, especially considering that between the 21st of November and the 16th of December, only one single contest takes place in front of their own fans, a solid victory over Memphis, completed by a score of 126-119, while the rest of the journey unfolds in unfavorable environments, where every detail can determine the outcome. The absence of the team's most prominent figure, a giant standing 7 feet 4 inches, sidelined by a left calf issue since mid-November, forced an immediate reorganization of internal hierarchies. Instead of paralyzing the team, this void generated a rare opportunity for someone who had been waiting for a larger role. The player tasked with filling that space, standing 7 feet 1 inch tall, began to take on unprecedented responsibilities, recording career-best averages and demonstrating not only technical growth, but emotional maturity under unexpected spotlights. More than points, rebounds, or blocks, what becomes evident is a silent principle of continuity, in which each athlete understands that one man's effort connects to the next, like an unbroken chain of shared responsibility. When one rests, another steps in, and this constant alternation creates a living mechanism that continues to operate even under the most adverse conditions. Meanwhile, another important piece remains sidelined, recovering from a left hip strain suffered in mid-November, fueling, along with his teammate, the expectation of a decisive return in the quarterfinals of the tournament, scheduled for the 10th of December, when the challenge will be to face Los Angeles in a clash that promises to ignite attention across the entire league. The possibility of 2 simultaneous returns adds an extra layer of tension and hope, suggesting that the best chapter of this story may still only be beginning. Against Orlando, it was another leader who stepped into the defining moment, scoring the final 10 points for the team and ending the night with a total of 31, in addition to contributing 5 rebounds and 5 assists, firmly establishing himself as the central figure in a game defined by extreme balance. Coming off the bench, a young rookie with enormous potential also left his mark, adding 16 points, 5 recoveries, and 5 distributions, showing that the future is already beginning to take form, even in the midst of present-day battles. Before we go on, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Your support keeps our Spurs coverage strong and brings you the latest updates straight from San Antonio. And jump into the comments. Tell us what you think about today's news. In the quiet moments before dawn, when the city of San Antonio still seems to hold its breath and the river walk lies hushed under the dim glow of streetlights, A seismic ripple traveled across the basketball world, born from a whisper that quickly grew into a roar. The San Antonio Spurs, a franchise steeped in discipline, legacy, and calculated moves, had pulled off what many believed to be impossible. The acquisition of Cleveland Cavaliers superstar Donovan Mitchell in a stunning, almost cinematic twist that instantly redefined the balance of power in the NBA and sent shockwaves through fan bases from Ohio to Texas and far beyond. The word betrayal began to trend alongside Donovan Mitchell and Spurs as loyal Cavalier supporters, who had embraced him as a symbol of resurgence and competitiveness, struggled to comprehend how their cornerstone, their explosive leader, the face of their modern era, could now be wearing the silver and black, preparing to run out onto the AT&T Center floor to thunderous applause from an entirely new army of believers eager to witness his first step into a T-shaped legacy written by legends like Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, and Robinson. For the Spurs, this move felt less like a gamble and more like a declaration, an announcement to the rest of the league that their long, methodical rebuild had reached a new and electrifying stage, and that their patience in recent seasons, marked by strategic drafting and the emergence of a generational talent in Victor Wembanyama, was not idle waiting, but the quiet construction of a moment just like this, a blockbuster shift that would send tremors through front offices and locker rooms. Across the NBA, Mitchell's arrival in San Antonio represents more than just a change in jersey color. It is the collision of two visions, one belonging to a franchise hungry to return to championship contention, and the other belonging to a player whose ambition has never been satisfied by mere playoff appearances, a competitor whose hunger for legacy now finds itself intertwined with a Spurs organization that understands, perhaps better than any other, how dynasties are built not with noise, but with precision, sacrifice, and perfectly timed impact. Sources close to the situation suggest that negotiations were layered, complex, and laced with dramatic tension, unfolding behind closed doors while the public eye remained fixed on other headlines, unaware that a quiet chess match was taking place. Each piece moved with intention as San Antonio slowly, invisibly cornered the opportunity that would eventually lead to Mitchell's stunning relocation from the shores of Lake Erie to the sun-soaked heart of Texas. Inside the Cavaliers' locker room, emotions reportedly ran deep, with confusion and disbelief hanging heavy in the air as teammates wrestled with the reality that their leader, the one who drove them through countless high-pressure moments, would no longer be there to command the huddle, bring fire to the floor, and embody the spirit of a franchise desperately trying to climb back to sustain greatness. Yet from another perspective, this dramatic chapter could be seen as an inevitable evolution, as the modern NBA increasingly becomes a landscape shaped by bold moves and visionary partnerships, where loyalty and ambition often collide, and where the pursuit of championships demands not only skill, but alignment with an organization poised to transform individual greatness into collective glory on the grandest stage. In San Antonio, the response was instantaneous and electric, with fans flooding forums, social media feeds, and local radio stations with pure astonishment and celebration, as if the city itself had been plugged into a surge of adrenaline, awakened by the realization that they would soon witness Donovan Mitchell's explosive first step, lethal scoring instincts, and undeniable charisma fused into the Spurs' calculated system of precision basketball. Analysts around the league began scrambling to rewrite their projections and power rankings, suddenly forced to acknowledge that the Spurs were no longer a quietly dangerous upstart, but a legitimate, intimidating force, armed with a rare blend of youthful brilliance and proven star power, an alliance that seemed almost unfair in its potential to dominate both ends of the court for years to come. The synergy between Mitchell and Wembanyama has already become the source of endless speculation, with experts envisioning pick-and-roll combinations that could dismantle even the most disciplined defenses, as Mitchell's speed and shot creation collide with Wembanyama's height, reach, and basketball IQ in an almost surreal dance that promises to redefine offensive dynamics in the modern game. What makes this development even more captivating is the cultural contrast and ultimate compatibility between Mitchell's fiery, expressive style and the Spurs' historically reserved, machine-like precision, a blend that could either explode in chaos or, as many are betting, evolve into the most lethal and balanced duo the league has seen in the post-dynasty era. Behind the scenes, reports suggest that Greg Popovich, the mastermind who has shaped generations of champions, played a pivotal role in welcoming Mitchell into the Spurs' philosophy, presenting him not just with a contract, but with a vision, one that offered him a chance not only to win, but to become something greater, woven permanently into the fabric of basketball history. For Mitchell, this move offers an escape from the weight of expectation in Cleveland and a chance at rebirth, an opportunity to write a new story where he is no longer just the centerpiece of a rebuilding team, but an essential component of an expanding empire, a co-architect of a new era destined to challenge the league's established kings. The Cavaliers, now left to confront the aftermath of this seismic departure, face difficult questions about leadership, direction, and identity, as fans demand answers and accountability, wondering whether this was truly a betrayal or simply the unavoidable result of a league that values opportunity over sentiment and ambition over comfort. Yet, even in the sense of loss, there is an undeniable acknowledgement of Mitchell's impact, of the moments he delivered, the nights he carried, and the hope he injected into a franchise longing for another golden chapter, making the pain of separation all the more intense and deeply personal for those who once chanted his name like a sacred anthem. In contrast, the streets of San Antonio now hum with anticipation as murals, jerseys, and digital displays begin to reflect a new hero's arrival, signaling the beginning of what feels like an impending revolution, a basketball renaissance that many believe will restore the city to its rightful place at the very center of the sport's most important conversations. Media outlets across the world have seized the narrative, framing it as one of the boldest moves of the decade, a story filled with drama, audacity, and brilliance, where the Spurs, long absent from headline-grabbing transactions, stepped back into the limelight with a statement so loud it echoed through the rafters of every arena. The locker room dynamics in San Antonio have reportedly shifted overnight, with players finding renewed motivation in the presence of a star who has walked through fire, carried playoff expectations, and proven time and again that he is made for moments when the pressure is at its peak and the world is watching. Young players who once dreamed of becoming leaders now find themselves standing side by side with one, absorbing his intensity, learning from his discipline, and drawing inspiration from his relentless pursuit of greatness, a ripple effect that could elevate the entire roster beyond expectations. The Spurs front office, often praised for its intelligence and restraint, is now being rebranded as bold and visionary, an organization finally revealing the master plan that had been quietly building in the shadows while the rest of the league underestimated its long-term ambitions. Ticket sales surged, merchandise flew from shelves, and the upcoming season transformed from a hopeful anticipation into an all-consuming obsession for fans who now see not just potential, but a genuine path to dominance carved into the Spurs' future. Even rival teams could not hide their concern, recognizing that a new contender had risen, one that combined youth, experience, strategy, and star power into a weaponized formula poised to disrupt playoff paths and championship dreams across both conferences. In the eyes of many, this was not just a trade. It was a narrative shift, a rewriting of destinies, where San Antonio emerged as the new gravitational center of the NBA universe, pulling attention, talent, and expectation into its orbit with unstoppable force. Donovan Mitchell's first public statement as a Spur reportedly carried a quiet intensity, a promise unspoken but felt, suggesting that he understood the weight of this moment and was prepared to honor it with every ounce of his ability, determination, and heart. For a league built on stories, rivalries, legends, and unexpected turns, few chapters have unfolded with this level of shock and intrigue, turning an ordinary news cycle into a historic moment suspended in disbelief and fascination. And as the sun rises higher over San Antonio, casting long shadows over the court that will soon become Mitchell's new battlefield. One undeniable truth settles into the air, like a prophecy beginning to take shape. The Spurs have not merely added a star. They have ignited a revolution. Now, as fans, analysts, and rivals wait for the first whistle of the upcoming season, one question lingers, heavy with anticipation and wonder. Was this the most brilliant move in recent NBA history, or simply the opening act of something even more extraordinary yet to come? That's it for today's update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay on top of every exclusive San Antonio Spurs news drop, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget, your opinion matters to Spurs Nation. Share your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next video.